Leggett, we've got another one. That's better, Burr.
So here we are, the Dippy Detectorists are back for 2020 and we're back with some magnet fishing. If you've not seen us before, we chuck these big old magnets in the river, pull out the metal we find and make a load of money, right Leggett?
Right Miller. Storm Dennis today. It's looking a bit gloomy and stormy about, so we might have some trouble later on with him. But we'll get back to you on that one. Where are we, Miller?
We are at Old Lakenham where we found the double-barrel shotgun. We're hoping to find 10 more guns, so we'll go and do it now.
Here, quickly, here.
What you got then, Leggett?
Look what I've got here. This is a train track controller that changes the directions of the tracks. One day, the Norwich team were on the train. Security Steve was on shift. He works at the train track controller just over there. The Norwich team were headed to Aston Villa to play him in the Norfolk Cup to see who would win that one. Security Steve, the plonker, he pressed the wrong button. The train track slid to one side the wrong direction. He sent them to Germany. They ended up playing Bayern Munich and losing 5-0. Well, Security Steve was fired and he now works as a bird watcher with Alan Titmarch.
What you got there then, Miller?
I don't really know, Leggett. What do you reckon this is?
Well, it's one of those things, isn't it?
Oh no, it's not one of them things. I know what this is. This belonged to the Pied Piper. Now last year he came down here to Norwich with his friends for his stag do. Norwich, good location he heard, and I agree. Now, you know how much he loves his tonic water. The Pied Piper had too much to drink. He was hungover the next day and he was on duty down here in Old Lakenham trying to get the rats out of the river. He come down and this is what he done. Do you like that, Leggett? The Pied Piper was playing his tune. A good 10 minutes it took before the rats started to surface. Now, the head rat surfaced. He was a unit, same as us Norfolk boys and girls, really strong. He chucked a lasso round the Pied Piper's neck. Yank! Yank! One last yank!
Miller, are you alright?
You'll never believe how the story ends. The Pied Piper got away. The head rat turned out to be a vegetarian, the same as the Pied Piper. They had so much in common, they're now married.
We've been magnet fishing for about an hour at the bridge spot and that yields plenty of grands. But I've got to tell you this. You see that electrical field plant thing over there? Yeah, well that's Norfolk's #1 electricity supplier. Now, Delia Smith and Stephen Fry were in talks with Donald Trump. Donald Trump was running out of electricity and New York's got to run somehow, hasn't it? So, all that electricity there supplies New York City.
That's a bloomin' big extension lead, Leggett.
Right guys, that's getting a bit treacherous here. Storm Dennis is setting in, but I've got something to show you. A new location Leggett's just found. Look at this beautiful flyover bridge. Now the Mongolians came here in 1460-10, that was the year, and built this bridge with 10 kilograms of concrete. These concrete pillars are littered with millions of tons of bamboo, would you believe? The strongest item in the world. They'd build them right up to the top, then they'd get the plasterers in. Loads and loads of concrete, only 10 kilos though, and then they'd skim over the bamboo, nice and viscous, to give it a nice, solid pillar. Well, it's a good job they built them so well, because 600 years later, you can get over the river. And this river is loaded with 1,000-year-old artefacts, and we're going to find them, put them on eBay, and sell them for £1 each. What you got then, Leggett?
Miller, look at this. The storm is picking up here at Old Lakenham. Another flurry is coming in. Dennis is being a menace. Back to the find. This is evident to see. It is a bucket helmet. Now, our old friend, warlord Sir Gregory Hastings of Cowell Tower. This belonged to him. He was in Cowell Tower protecting the cows when he got a phone call on his Nokia mobile. He had to leave his young boy to look after the cows. Off to Old Lakenham he come. He heard there was a disturbance. The Mongolians had just started building the bridge, as you were telling them about earlier, Miller. Gregory Hastings thought it was another invasion. He was angry, shouting verbal abuse to the Mongolians, when the Mongolian warlord chief decided he'd throw his first spear. And he launched a flurry of spears. The tribes, all of them, spears flying left, right and centre. And Gregory Hastings, lucky he had this, he put it on that like that, and then that stopped him from getting a spear in the head.
Here, quickly, here! Look at this, Leggett, what I've just found. I know exactly what this is. It's an antique toothbrush. Look at this, made in England, and that's made of metal. Do you know why? Because the user of this, Simon Cowell, best teeth ever, and we use the same dentist, don't we, Leggett? His name's Dante the dentist, and I'll give him a call now.
What's he saying then, Miller?
Pack it in, Leggett, I'm on the phone at Don. Hello? Hello, Dante, how you doing, all right? That's Miller. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, still magnet fishing. Yeah, we just started it. Yeah. Look, I've got to be quick. I've just found Simon Cowell's toothbrush, his antique one, in the river at Old Lakenham. Yeah. He's there with you now in the chair. Can you believe this, Leggett? Yeah, pass him over. Hello, Simon, that's Miller. How you doing, all right? Yeah? Right. What do you mean you need to negotiate on the price? What do you mean you need to see me in the boardroom? Oh, what do you mean I'm fired? I've called the apprentice, not the dentist. 12:01, you know what that means? It's dinner time. I've just been down the road to see Greg at Old Lakenham, and he sorted me out a treat. I got my veggie roll and my donut. I'll start with my donut first because I'm healthy eating.
Right, back in the van, we've dried off, we've had our food. We've had some intel that people are having some more bin problems in the storm, so we're off round there to sort their bins out and then go to another magnet fishing spot. Now, I'm used to my kettle coffee. I love kettle coffee, and I went to Greg's and I got a coffee. I'm not used to buying coffee out, and I asked for an espresso. Well, I didn't expect this. Look at this! What has happened here? They must have had a trainee on or something, and they've washed the cups and left them in the tumble dryer too long. That's bloomin' tiny!
Do you know what the best part about that coffee story Leggett just told you was? He thought espresso was expresso. Right guys, we've just arrived at our next spot. We're at Helston Mill Lane. It's an old spot for us, and we've found a lot of stuff here before, so we're about to put some waterproofs on. Get ready for part 2.
Yeah, Mr. Johnson, no worries, mate. I'm glad you're alright. You want this? It is in good nick, so I'll bring it round later tonight. Oh, hang on a minute. I'll see you later, mate.
Who was that on the phone, Leggett?
Don't get wound up about it, alright?
Well, it depends what it is.
You know, I've been doing bin retrieval services because of the storm.
Yeah.
I've also had an emergency call out to do a trampoline retrieval job.
You've been doing bits on the side without me?
No. I was going to split it with you, I promise. Just listen. I saw it. You can't trust Dennis, he's been a menace today. I saw it. A trampoline flying over Aldi. And bloomin' Mr. Johnson was clinging on for dear life.
What, clinging onto the trampoline in the mid there?
He's alright. He fell off over the UEA Sports Park swimming pool. He crashed through the corrugated iron, but he's alright in the pool. So that's where he was calling me from, the swimming pool on his sunbed lounger. Now, he'll definitely want this perfect condition. He'll sew it back onto his trampoline and he'll be bouncing around again in no time. Do you want to know how much we got for this job, Miller?
How much?
£1,000.
Miller, what the devil are you doing, me old boy?
I'm reenacting an old scene, Leggett. Now look at this. This is a coal shovel, but it's not just any old coal shovel, because I found it in this river, and it's dated the way it is. I know where this came from. The Titanic used to go underneath that bridge back in the day, and the captain, Admiral Lord Nelson, was the captain of that ship. Now, he liked to get his hands dirty, so he was in the coal sheds as well, shoveling coal. He was a good old boy, weren't he? Because he's from Norfolk. Look at this, Leggett. The markings here. Admiral Lord Nelson.
Yeah, you can proper see the markings on there.
What you got then, Leggett?
Look at this, Miller.
Good to hell, the size of that blade.
That is a lengthy one. I'll tell you what it's all about. You're on about the Titanic using this. When the Titanic was in repairs or not in use, whales used to use this piece of water as a bathing pond. They used to congregate in large huddles.
Hold on a minute, that's a bit narrow for a whale to get in.
What, don't you believe me?
Yeah, I do believe you, Leggett, but...
Well, yeah, well, now these weren't just any normal whales. These were special whales that had tusks. And this is what this handle is made out of, whale tusk. Now, the whales would shed their tusks every 24 hours. And you can imagine, can't you, excitement in the village. They used to come down, the villagers, sprinting down the hill to the river. They would see the piles of tusks. They would collect the tusks. They would gather the tusks. Now, when the villagers had enough tusks, they would take it to the village, to the blacksmith and the forge, and they would make as many whale tusk blades as possible. Back in the day, they were all discontinued, but this one remained, which makes it a rare. Now, having a little look at it, it's good quality. I reckon that's worth about 400 grand, Miller.
400? You're joking, ain't you?
No, Dodgy Damon will be jealous. We got to get off and sell this one quick before anyone else finds out about it.
Simon Swan and his missus from Norwich to Cambridge to Lincoln back to Norwich. They survived Christmas and they weren't put on the table and eaten.
Look at this. Now, what does that look like to you? A hammer, but it's not just any hammer. You know, in the courtrooms when they send you down for sentencing and that, 6 months, 1 year. Well, this is one of them. Now, this belonged to one of the goblins from Gringotts Bank. You know, the little fellas running around on Harry Potter. Well, last summer there was hundreds of them here. They came down to Helston Mill Lane on their summer holidays. Now, they have to keep these little hammers with them at all times, and that's goblin law. That's also goblin law that you can't use your swimming trunks to keep these in. So they sellotape these round their stomachs. One of the goblins, he's proper tight, and he kept reusing his sellotape every single year. Well, that July he got in big trouble because the sellotape round his stomach stopped getting sticky and this hammer fell out into the river. He was banished to the goblin prison, and now I'm gonna go and get my money. So here we are, we're finished for the day magnet fishing, and we've had a fantastic day. Debuting our magnet fishing comeback for 2020, ain't we, Leggett?
That's right, Miller. Storm Dennis has been wrecking with us a bit today, but that was nothing the Dippy Detectorists couldn't handle. My favourite find has to be the whale tusk blade. Cool, that was a big one. What's your favourite?
My favourite find was the Pied Piper flute, because the reenactment I did was so truthful and honest, and that's what the Dippy Detectorists are about, bringing you the facts.
Now, you've probably been wondering where we've been the last few months. Life reasons. I have been busy during the weekdays.
And I've been busy on the weekends, but we're going to do our best from this point forward to make Sunday our filming day and bring you regular videos like back in the day. Right, boy?
Right, boy. We have ideas coming out of our ears, so we'll crack on with that as soon as possible. That is enough magnet fishing for one day. Thank you for watching.
And see you in the next one. Right guys, it's getting treacherous here in Storm Dennis, but I've got something to show you. We're at a new location today. We're
The villagers of the village would come down, they were collecting the tusk, collecting them all. The villagers used to run down from the village when they heard about these tusks, piled up in the river, piles there were, blocking these areas, piles of tusks in the river, collecting the tusks, picking them. Oh no!
I can see you.